Good evening and welcome to California Today. I'm Daniel Hall, sitting in for Lang Jiang. Here's some of the stories we've got ready for you tonight. As Californians prepare to cast their votes for the primary elections, a research institute looked at what the top issues are among voters. We'll have that list for you. People with careers that depend on water say the current drought can't just be blamed on nature, but rather officials' management. We'll hear what they're saying about the state's water situation. San Francisco police flew across the Pacific Ocean to make an arrest in Taiwan. What was the suspected crime that took them all the way across the ocean? We'll have that for you tonight. As the primary elections approach, 1 in 3 Californians say jobs, economy, inflation, or gas prices are the top issues facing the state today. Consumers are switching to cheaper items, reducing food away from home, and delaying retirement in an effort to combat rising costs. According to a new survey by the nonprofit Public Policy Institute of California, 27% of Californians think inflation, jobs, and the economy are the state's top issues ahead of the June 7th primary election. The other top issues are housing costs and availability, followed by homelessness, gas and oil prices, water availability, and drought, respectively. Rising gas, food, and consumer goods prices have sent inflation to 40-year highs in the United States. 37% of those surveyed say they are financially worse off today than they were a year ago. The latest Real Financial Progress Index from BHO Harris Bank showed that consumers are switching to cheaper items, reducing food away from home, and delaying retirement in an effort to offset rising costs. The leader of a Mexican church pleads guilty. California Attorney General Rob Bonta announced he had secured a guilty plea and conviction on multiple felony counts of sexual assault against the head of a Mexico-based evangelical church that claims more than 1 million followers worldwide. Nason Joaquin Garcia is the leader of the Guadalajara-based church known as La Luz del Mundo, or the Light of the World. He pled guilty to the counts involving 3 separate minors. The conviction comes ahead of the trial, which was set to begin today. Sentencing is currently scheduled for Wednesday. According to prosecutors, 5 victims, some of them minors, alleged that they were raped or otherwise sexually abused by Garcia. Prosecutors also cited a video in which Garcia is seen watching while a young boy has sex with a member of his own family. Internet sites say the church has between 1 million and 5 million followers worldwide in more than 50 countries, including many followers in the United States. According to 2 experts, California's dire water situation shouldn't wholly be blamed on the climate, but rather leadership. They say both a lack of and a failing water infrastructure are major reasons for the drought, and they say the solution is investing more in that infrastructure. A former director of the Municipal Water District of Orange County, Brett Barber, told California Insider's Sima Karami the lack of water is a result of the government's inaction.
The state of California and the feds are largely responsible because we have not continued with the building of our water infrastructure.
His comments come as Los Angeles has initiated a strict watering ban for outside plants and yards. As California is experiencing the driest year on record, the state has imposed stronger water restrictions this year than ever before. Barber said the 2 main problems are lack of storage and lack of efficiency.
We use our water multiple times in Orange County. We take the sewer flows and we recycle it, put it back in the groundwater basin and pump it out. So we're very efficient with the use of that water. The rest of the state not so much, and we're letting so much just run out to the ocean.
Barber believes that the water shortage problem can be solved if there's enough water storage built in California. Bill Dietrich, farmer and president of the California Farm Water Coalition, says the same thing about infrastructure. In a commentary published on Cal Matters, he wrote, "Both the lack of infrastructure and failing infrastructure are major reasons hundreds of thousands of Californians, most in rural and disadvantaged communities, lack access to clean drinking water." According to Barber, the issues that prevent California from expanding water storage are the California Environmental Quality Act and other environmental groups that halt efforts to build reservoirs. He said that about 5 to 6 million acre-feet more of storage would eliminate any need for water conservation. An explosion erupted at Petaluma Airport on Monday morning. The fire from the explosion destroyed a hangar, a small private plane, and a classic Corvette. According to the fire chief, they responded to the report at 11:42 a.m. The fire was put out by 11:58 a.m. The cause of the fire appears to be accidental, but is under investigation. A Los Angeles resident who is suspected of stealing $3 million from a San Francisco woman was arrested after San Francisco authorities tracked him down in Taiwan with the help of the FBI and Taiwanese police. The suspect was extradited back to the United States, where he is awaiting trial. NTD's Jason Blair has the story.
A fugitive burglary suspect who stole almost $3 million from a woman in San Francisco was detained in Taiwan and brought back to the U.S. by the San Francisco Police Department. SFPD, with the help of multiple law enforcement agencies, identified and tracked down LA resident Zhang Tianzhu, who fled to Taiwan shortly after the crime. According to the police, Zhang broke into the unidentified victim's home on March 16th. He then allegedly physically restrained the victim with duct tape and threatened her with a knife. The suspect didn't speak but wrote on an electronic tablet demanding money and threatening further harm if she did not cooperate. The victim complied, and Zhang was able to transfer almost $3 million into his crypto account. Zhang has been booked on felony burglary, felony kidnapping for robbery, and felony terrorist threats. Jason Blair, NTD News, San Francisco.
The city of Los Angeles is changing how homeless encampments near schools are enforced. A majority of council members voted to ban all encampments near schools, a change from only limiting certain encampments before. 2 council members spoke against the change. The Los Angeles City Council backed a proposal to amend the city's law against homeless encampments.
To prohibit the sleeping, lying, or storing property within 500 feet of a school and a daycare center.
The current ordinance already restricts sleeping and encampments within 500 feet of schools and daycare facilities. But the restrictions only apply after each individual location is approved for enforcement by the City Council. On Tuesday, the council voted 13-2 to have the city attorney prepare the ordinance adjustment. The amendment will need to be approved by the council before going into effect. Council President Nuri Martinez said that many teachers, principals, and parents had reached out concerning the encampments. In reference to the encampments, Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho says,
"I've seen elementary schools with conditions that none of us as parents would find acceptable for our children."
Carvalho told the council that he himself had experienced homelessness when he was 18. Councilman Mike Bonin, who also has experienced being unhoused, voted against the ordinance. Councilwoman Nithya Rahman joined Bonin in opposition. Both Bonin and Rahman also voted against approving an ordinance last summer. That ordinance prohibited obstructing the public right-of-way in several areas of the city. We're going to take a short break, but we've got a lot more important stories for you when we come back. It may be an only in California moment, but now according to the state's law, bees are now considered fish. We'll see how such a thing can be. One San Francisco-based man is preparing for a solo kayak journey deep into the Pacific Ocean. His destination? Hawaii. We'll see how long the journey is going to take and how much he had to prepare. And a Bay Area cherry festival celebrated its 150th anniversary with a parade. We'll see what people were celebrating over the weekend. That and more on California Today. What do you think when someone says, describe fish? Well, in California, you can now answer that with bumblebees. That comes after a recent court decision. As absurd as it may sound, it's in an effort to protect the little pollinators. Bumblebees are now eligible for protection as endangered or threatened fish under California law. The Sacramento-based California Court of Appeals reversed a lower court's ruling on May 31st. The decision is in favor of 7 environmental groups and the state's Fish and Game Commission. The groups argued that the California Endangered Species Act, or CESA, does not cover insects. Associate Justice Ronald Robbie wrote for the appeals court, "While fish is commonly understood to refer to aquatic species, the term of art employed by the legislature is not so limited. The CISA itself does not define fish, but the law is part of the California Fish and Game Code. The code's definition includes any mollusk, crustacean, invertebrate, or amphibian. In 2020, the California Superior Court ruled that the law's reference to invertebrates had to be read in context and included only aquatic animals. However, several agricultural groups filed suit in Sacramento County Superior Court over the lack of insect protection. People on Twitter questioned the decision. One said, "I studied marine biology at university. This makes my head ache." Another speculated the original law just had a strange definition of fish that included a number of things that a more colloquial use of the word wouldn't. Another said, "I was today years old when I found out laws can change the definition of words." Another asked, "You need a license to catch bees? I mean, since they are fish." The Fish and Game Commission has designated 4 bee species as candidate species, providing them protections while it considered whether to list them as endangered. It's one thing to fly to Hawaii, but what about another mode of transportation? One man is about to go there by kayak alone. We spoke to the man that's made the daunting journey his mission. See if you can guess how many days he'll be at sea.
In the coming weeks or even days, one man in the Bay Area plans to embark on a journey that he's been waiting for 4 years. Now, ever since a test run last summer, he's been preparing ever since. He says this time, all he needs is good weather. Cyril Deramo is French-born and currently lives in the Bay Area. He's made it his mission to solo kayak from San Francisco to Honolulu.
Here's what I need to do. I need 3 days with no wind so I can go off the coast as far as possible.
In the summer of 2021, he made his first attempt. He said it was a learning experience to test the waters.
Maybe, if I do 30 miles per day, that's 90 miles off the coast. And then I'm far enough so that the wind will not bring me back, okay? But the wind started to pick up, and more and more and more.
Deramo said it got to the point where it got dangerous for his life, so he and his on-land team called in for a rescue back to shore. But this was surely not the end of his journey.
Obviously, it's a struggle. For 70 days, it's going to be hard. But when you make it, you pass your own boundaries, and then you're so proud of yourself. You're like, wow, it's fantastic. That's why I want to do it again.
To give a feeling of how far Hawaii is, flights from San Francisco to both Honolulu and New York take about the same amount of time. What is a 5.5-hour flight time will take him over 2 months of paddling. He previously earned the Guinness World Record from Monterey to Hawaii, but with a team of 4 on a rowing boat. They finished in 39 days. But for solo kayaking, he said there were only 6 other people that have done it before.
Nothing will teach you anything until you put your butt in the boat and you go out there. There's really nothing. You have to do it. That's experience. And I can tell you about how it feels to be in a small cabin, like in a 40 miles per hour wind with waves that are 5 meters high. You don't know until you do it.
Deramo started kayaking at the age of 32. It's the things he sees while out at sea that makes it worth it.
There's something about being in the middle of the ocean where you don't see land for 2 months, where you're connected with nature. Like, imagine if you have to go away for 2 months, there's no email, there's no internet, there's no phone, there's nothing, just you in the moment. The only thing that is important is to keep going forward and enjoy the wind, the rain, the animals. Maybe you see a whale, maybe you see a shark. But what I love myself is the birds. My first crossing on a boat, after 3 weeks, 3 weeks and we don't see land, there's like an albatross that comes out of nowhere. What? How did he come here? It's fantastic. It's beautiful.
Deramo's game plan is to kayak 30 miles by day and an additional 10 miles by night as the waves push him while he sleeps. He's been rigorously preparing, and he showed us a type of training boat he uses.
So this is a surf ski. It's a kayak that is performance. It's very tippy, but it's made for the ocean. So once you have a little wave, wow, you go so fast. It's so fun. I love it.
Deramo's actual ocean kayak was custom built in England and named Valentine, after his sister.
So I have to mix the training. So for me, I do yoga, I run, I do biking, kayaking. I mixed all the training. Maybe one day I will do 2 hours of yoga in the morning, 2 hours of running in the afternoon.
Physical conditioning isn't the only aspect that's required. There's also the mind and technical know-how.
There's the mental part. How do you become not crazy alone? You know, I'm already crazy, so. But there's also, you have to know electricity, because if you have a problem with the solar panels, the battery, you have to be able to repair.
Could you talk about your food supply and water?
Of course. So the water, I have a machine called the water maker. It's a reverse osmosis that takes the water from the ocean and removes the salt. Right, so I can make my own water.
Out in the ocean, he may be paddling for 10 to 12 hours a day.
So it's really light, and it's like this, so right and left, right and left. So I need to eat a lot, and it's freeze-dried food, bars, electrolytes, vitamins, all that stuff to make sure that I replenish what I use.
Dermo has on-land support to communicate with each day for statistics and weather stats.
I do this adventure because that's my passion, to be on the water, and I follow my dreams. And not everybody has to follow like me, but if you want to climb a mountain, if you want to live overseas, you want to learn a language, you have to do it, because the energy that you have when you follow your passion makes you do everything.
He says he doesn't mind the struggle, as his eyes are set on reaching paradise at the end of the journey.
Aloha!
David Lamb, NTD News, California.
California's cherry season is in full swing. After a 2-year hiatus, one city brought back its annual Cherry Festival celebration with a parade over the weekend.
The Cherry Parade returned to the city of San Leandro, California. The city also celebrated its 150th birthday.
I was actually a little girl when we did the 100th. So when they had the 100th celebration in town, it was a citywide complete celebration. And I can still remember sitting on the curb and watching the parade go by.
The Cherry Parade has been around since 1906.
I think there's just something sort of vintage and sort of cutting edge. And I think San Leandro is a Renaissance city.
This year, there were over 50 entries, led by the San Leandro High School Marching Band. They were followed by city officials, dance groups, a pet grooming company, Boy Scouts, a meditation group, and more.
After this pandemic and so much going on for all of our lives, we're actually having a full year of people coming out again and enjoying each other. This community has a long history of enjoying themselves and loving their community.
Following the parade were a few events, activities, and food. California's cherry season usually starts mid-May through June.
For amusement park goers, Disneyland's Splash Mountain is getting a new theme, but the opening for it wasn't revealed until one voice actress accidentally let it slip.
On June 2nd, Anika Noni Rose accidentally revealed the 2024 reopening of the re-themed Splash Mountain rides at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. But shortly after, Disney immediately made the reopening timeline foggy again, saying more details will be released in July. Rose is best known for voicing the main character Tiana in Disney's 2009 movie The Princess and the Frog. During an interview, she shared her involvement in the new design, based on Tiana's story of the Splash Mountain rides at both theme parks. After Rose's interview aired, Disney quickly released a statement, clarifying that the timing for the ride's reopening has not been determined. They reassured that further details would be shared at the Essence Festival of Culture in New Orleans in July.
Now let's take it to NTD's Thomas Christian for a sports update.
We're here at Chase Center in San Francisco for Game 2 of the NBA Finals, the Golden State Warriors versus the Boston Celtics. It's your California Today Sports Roundup.
Down 1-0 in the NBA Finals and unwilling to surrender further their home court advantage, it was a must-win game for the Golden State Warriors. But the Warriors didn't win. They just blew the doors off the Boston Celtics in a fantastic Game 2 showing in which Stephen Curry kicked back on the bench for the entire fourth quarter with a job well done. But that powerful victory wasn't so clear in the first half. Early on in Game 2, Boston stars Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were on fire, combining for 26 of Boston's 30 first quarter points. As recently as the first half of the 2021-22 season, critics were calling for Boston to trade either Brown or Tatum. Now, they are working together in perfect tandem. The Warriors rallied late into the first quarter to take a 1-point lead heading into the second. That second quarter was also a tightly contested 12 minutes of play, but saw the Warriors increase their lead to 2 points heading into halftime. Golden State was doing more damage to itself than Boston was in the first half. Blown layups, missed open jump shots, and dumb turnovers stopped the Warriors' lead from building. Third quarters are when the Warriors are known for taking control of games, and it happened again this time. Golden State's rabid defense held the Celtics to just 4 made baskets for the whole third quarter, while piling up 35 points in their own right. Big three-pointers from Stephen Curry and Jordan Poole, including a 39-foot buzzer beater from Poole, helped the Warriors win the quarter 35-14. The starters for both teams got some rest in the fourth quarter, mainly comprised of garbage time, while the Warriors' backups put Boston away. Stephen Curry led all scorers with 29 points on 9 of 21 shooting. Jordan Poole added 17 points off the bench, and 5 Warriors scored in double digits. For Boston, the lesser-known players that stole the show in Game 1 failed to make the same mark in Game 2. Instead, the Celtics relied heavily on their all-star duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, a strategy that might have cost them. Still, Tatum scored 28 points on good efficiency, including sinking 6 of his 9 three-point attempts. Co-star Jaylen Brown ended the night with 17 points. Even with the loss, Boston still has the advantage in the series right now with their Game 1 win. Stealing even one game on the road in a playoff series is a huge boon to winning the whole thing. Tied at 1-1, Golden State will be forced to try and win one of 2 away games at Boston's TD Garden. Otherwise, they'll face a 3-1 deficit when the series comes back to San Francisco for Game 5. Game 3 of the NBA Finals tips off at 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Boston 88, Golden State 107. Auctioneers are expecting a one-of-a-kind LeBron James trading card to fetch more than $6 million when it goes up for sale this week. The Triple Logo Man card, a single-issue card featuring the 18-time NBA All-Star, includes patches taken from jerseys James wore while with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, and Los Angeles Lakers. Issued by Panini as part of its 2021 Flawless collection, the card set off a frenzied hunt among collectors, including Canadian rapper Drake, who bought 10 cases of the pricey basketball cards in a failed attempt to locate it. An ultra-rare signed rookie card for the 4-time NBA champion broke the record for most expensive basketball card ever sold last year, pulling in $5.2 million. It was the second highest amount paid for any sports trading card, tying the amount paid for a 1952 rookie card for baseball great Mickey Mantle. The auction for the Triple Logo Man card opens on Wednesday and closes on June 25th.
That's all for your California Today Sports Roundup. Go Warriors!
That's all we've got for you tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, or if you just want to let us know how we're doing, please send us an email at california.today@ntd.com. I'm Daniel Hall, sitting in for Lang Jang. Have a wonderful evening.